According to the latest report from the World Health Organization, WHO, 1 in 6 Americans over age 60 is silently living with insulin resistance without knowing it. That figure is alarming because insulin resistance is not only the waiting room for prediabetes and type 2 diabetes. It also accelerates aging, drives blood pressure sky high, promotes abdominal fat accumulation, and gradually impairs memory. The CDC adds another worrisome statistic. 96 million people in the United States are in the prediabetes stage, and over 80% have never been diagnosed, simply because we've grown accustomed to the vague warning signs caused by our daily plates of food. So if insulin resistance is the first door opening the way to a host of chronic diseases, what is the key to lock it again without lifelong dependence on medication? Must every solution lie in a prescription, or does our body still possess the capacity to self-regulate, provided it receives the right fuel? I've been asking that question during my 15 years of working with older patients in California. Many walk into my clinic with erratic blood sugar and a lengthy list of medications, yet leave healthier simply by swapping in the right foods at the right times, without upping their drug doses or resorting to harsh diets. Food isn't just fuel, it's a biological signal. Choose wisely, and you'll enable your liver, pancreas, and blood vessels to hear the call to restore insulin sensitivity quietly and sustainably. The good news is you don't need to hunt down expensive superfoods. 5 extremely familiar choices, available at any supermarket you visit, are enough to help your body flip the healing switch back on. This isn't merely an ingredient list. It's a roadmap to reclaiming your autonomy meal by meal. In this video, I'll guide you through those 5 foods, analyzing their active compounds, mechanisms of action, optimal usage, safety considerations, and real patient stories from my practice. Don't go anywhere. I'm about to start this journey right now. 1. Blueberries. If you're looking for a small but mighty fruit to bring your blood sugar back into a safe range, blueberries are the brightest contender. The deep purple-blue flesh of each berry is packed with anthocyanins, the natural pigments that give them their dark hue. Once inside the body, anthocyanins sharpen insulin's signal in muscle tissue, so that glucose moves orderly from the bloodstream into cells instead of lingering and spiking your blood sugar. But blueberries do more than that. They also contain quercetin, an antioxidant proven to soothe the inner lining of blood vessels, reduce inflammation, and limit atherosclerotic plaque buildup. This is especially important for anyone with long-standing high glucose, because the clash between sugar and vessel walls underlies complications such as blurry vision, numb feet, and stroke. Another advantage is their glycemic index, at only about 53, far lower than sweetened strawberries or most tropical fruits, letting you snack without triggering a red light blood sugar surge after meals. To reap the full benefits, simply rinse a handful of fresh blueberries, stir them into rolled oats, add a spoonful of ground flaxseed, and pour over unsweetened Greek yogurt. This 3-minute breakfast delivers fiber to slow sugar absorption, protein to preserve muscle, and healthy fats from flax to keep you full. If you're pressed for time, blitz blueberries with almond milk and half a banana into a smoothie. Its natural sweet-tart balance leaves you light in the stomach while sustaining energy until lunchtime. For an afternoon pick-me-up, pack a thermal container with frozen blueberries and a few almonds. By the time they thaw, they're plump, chilled like sorbet, and a perfect low-carb alternative to sugary pastries. A pro tip: buy blueberries in season, shake off excess water, and freeze them in single layers. Flash freezing preserves nearly all their vitamin C, fiber, and most anthocyanins, so you'll have clean fruit all year at an agreeable price. But prioritize organic or pesticide-free labels. Blueberry skins are thin, so agricultural chemicals cling easily and can burden liver and kidneys. And steer clear of sweetened dried blueberries or those coated in syrup. Added sugar in those bags can be 3 times that of fresh berries, enough to derail your insulin-stabilizing plan in an instant. In sum, blueberries aren't just an enjoyable snack. They're nature's jewel for regulating blood sugar, protecting blood vessels, and delivering clean energy for anyone concerned about diabetes. Tomorrow morning, swap your sugar-laden strawberries for a bowl of fresh blueberries and feel the gentle yet lasting difference from these tiny powerhouses. 2. Almonds. If your goal is to flatten blood sugar without punishing dieting, a handful of almonds each day is a far smarter choice than a plate of cucumbers, which is mostly just water. In 28g, that's about 10-15 kernels, almonds deliver nearly 14g of monounsaturated fat. This type of fat acts like a brake, slowing the rate at which sugar from food enters the bloodstream, so the pancreas doesn't have to panic pump huge amounts of insulin all at once. But almonds' real star is their 75 mg of magnesium, a mineral proven by numerous studies to be the key that activates insulin receptors on cell surfaces. When magnesium is sufficient, muscle, liver, and fat cells swing their doors wide open to glucose, reducing the time sugar lingers in the blood and damages vessel walls. Almonds don't stop at metabolic support. They also contain 3,5g of fiber and about 6g of plant protein per 28g. The soluble fiber wraps around the food mass to form a gel, slowing stomach emptying, while the protein sends a "I'm full" signal to the brain, cutting cravings for hours. As a result, you won't slump into drowsiness from a mid-meal sugar dip, nor will you rummage through the pantry for cookies in the afternoon. An ideal snack might be as simple as slowly chewing 10 almonds with a small green apple, or sprinkling sliced almonds over your morning oatmeal. You can even blend 30g of almonds with 600 ml of warm water, strain through cloth, and make homemade almond milk, creamy and rich without added sugar. A cup after a light workout replenishes protein and electrolytes without spiking your blood sugar. For variety, toss unsalted roasted almonds with arugula, orange segments, and a drizzle of olive oil. The nut's richness balances the green's peppery bite, and vitamin C from the orange aids magnesium absorption. For dessert, lightly toast almonds, crush them, and sprinkle over unsweetened Greek yogurt with a handful of fresh blueberries. Each component teams up to blunt the insulin response after eating, since they each lock down sugar in different ways. Though beneficial, almonds must be eaten in moderation. Avoid salted, honey-roasted, or chocolate-coated versions. Excess salt raises blood pressure, and added sugar undermines glucose control. Those on a potassium-phosphorus, restricted diet due to chronic kidney disease should limit themselves to 5-7 almonds per day and blanch them in boiling water for 1 minute before drying to reduce mineral load. Also, almonds contain moderate oxalate. Anyone with a history of kidney stones should drink at least 250 ml of water when snacking to prevent crystal formation. Keep a small packet of raw almonds in your pocket. A timely handful provides lubricating oil for cells burning sugar evenly, keeps your stomach feeling satisfied, your mind alert, and your blood vessels clean, 3 essentials for reversing insulin resistance and living healthily at any age. 3 steel-cut oats. Whole steel-cut oats, which must be chopped by steel rather than rolled thin, retain nearly the entire bran layer, the source of beta-glucan. This soluble fiber swells into a smooth gel on contact with water, coating food in the gut like a soft barrier that slows the rate at which sugar seeps into the bloodstream. As a result, post-breakfast blood sugar doesn't spike and crash but rises gently, giving the pancreas time to release just the right amount of insulin. The beta-glucan gel also binds bile salts for excretion, forcing the liver to pull LDL cholesterol from the blood for recycling. Great news for diabetics at high risk of heart attack. Even more important, steel-cut oats have a glycemic index of about 45, nearly half that of baked sweet potato, so you can enjoy a morning carb without worrying about drowsiness at 10 a.m. Transforming these hearty grains into a meal is remarkably flexible. The night before, simply soak 3 tablespoons of oats in 150 ml almond milk, add a handful of fresh blueberries, and a spoonful of chia seeds, cover, and refrigerate. By morning, the chilled porridge is soft, lightly fragrant, and the beta-glucan has already expanded to serve as your blood sugar shield. If you prefer it warm, simmer the oats in 3 times their volume of water for 10 minutes, remove from heat, stir in a few crushed walnuts, sprinkle with cinnamon and apple slices. Cinnamon adds natural sweetness and enhances insulin sensitivity, while walnuts supply omega-3s to keep your vessels supple. For an even more satisfying breakfast that curbs snacking, stir in a scoop of mung bean or chickpea flour to double the protein without upsetting digestion. However, be cautious with instant oats that cook in 1 minute. Their bran is crushed, beta-glucan is reduced, and their glycemic index soars to 65-70, wasting all your effort to stabilize blood sugar. Adding white sugar or syrup to your porridge will also undo your hard work. Instead, rely on natural cinnamon, vanilla, or low-sugar fruit for flavor. If you're transitioning from sweet potatoes or bread to oats, start with just 2 tablespoons a day to let your gut adjust to the extra fiber, and drink a cup of warm water alongside. Slowly but surely, after 6 to 8 weeks, many people notice fewer nighttime calf cramps, since less potassium is lost to frequent urination, a trimmer waist thanks to lasting fullness, and even a 1-step drop in HbA1c without increasing their medication. 4. Spinach. A handful of fresh leaves may look delicate, but inside they contain alpha-lipoic acid, one of the rare antioxidants soluble in both water and fat. Thanks to that double-edged property, alpha-lipoic acid penetrates muscle and liver cell membranes, clearing away free radicals and helping insulin receptors open more quickly so glucose can enter cells, reducing the amount of sugar circulating in the blood. Alongside this antioxidant is a natural source of potassium. Every 100 g of spinach provides over 550 mg of potassium, nearly the same as a large banana, but with very little sugar. Potassium balances sodium, relaxes blood vessels, and keeps blood pressure stable, crucial when insulin resistance often goes hand in hand with hypertension. Additionally, magnesium, folate, and vitamin K gather in each green leaf to help the pancreas secrete insulin more smoothly, while also repairing the tiny blood vessels that weaken with age. Preparation is very simple. Lightly sauté a few slices of garlic in a tablespoon of olive oil, quickly toss in the washed spinach, sprinkle with a little black pepper, and remove from the heat as soon as the leaves turn emerald green. This quick fry method preserves most of the alpha-lipoic acid and vitamins. For a fresh flavor, you can mix raw spinach with apple cider vinegar, a handful of crushed walnuts, and a pinch of roasted sunflower seeds. The vinegar helps blunt post-meal blood sugar spikes, and the seeds add healthy fats that prolong satiety. On busy mornings, blend a handful of spinach, half a green apple, a spoonful of ground flaxseed, and 200 ml of coconut water. In under 2 minutes, you have a smooth green smoothie that delivers soluble fiber plus plant-based omega-3s from the flaxseed. This drink is especially useful for those who find it hard to chew leafy greens or are tired of eating oatmeal repeatedly. However, because spinach is high in vitamin K, anyone on blood-thinning medication should consult their doctor to adjust dosages or distribute their spinach intake evenly throughout the week, avoiding a single large serving. Also remember, boiling spinach for more than 3 minutes washes out potassium and folate and depletes alpha-lipoic acid. Opt instead for quick steaming or a light sauté, and use any leftover cooking water to drizzle over rice or into soups so you don't waste the nutrients. Freezing portions after washing and draining works well too. Simply add the frozen leaves straight into a hot pan, and the color and flavor remain intact. Just 1 handful of spinach each day, alternated with almonds or oatmeal, is enough to boost insulin sensitivity, maintain gentle blood pressure, and lubricate your blood vessels. A simple gift that every middle-aged body will welcome. 5. Passion fruit, the golden friend for blood sugar and mood. A wrinkled, ripe passion fruit, with its cool, fragrant aroma, is in fact a treasure trove of vitamin C, pectin, and a range of rare polyphenols. When you scoop 1-2 tablespoons of its pulp into a glass of warm water first thing in the morning, the pectin immediately absorbs water and expands into a soft gel that coats whatever food you eat afterward, slowing sugar absorption. The result is a more gradual rise in blood glucose and prolonged satiety well into lunchtime. Vitamin C acts as an antioxidant shield around pancreatic cells, while the polyphenols and gentle alkaloids in the seeds and white pith quietly dilate blood vessels, lower blood pressure, and soothe the heart racing from oxidative stress. Uniquely, the pulp also contains a mild bromelain-like enzyme. This gentle enzyme, together with organic acids, stimulates the liver to secrete bile, improving fat digestion, a common challenge for those with insulin resistance. Usage is straightforward. In the early morning, cut the fruit in half, scoop the pulp into 200 ml of warm water, stir well, and add a few slices of ginger to enhance the warming spice and further support peripheral vasodilation. Sip slowly, swallowing the seeds to benefit from the insoluble fiber that helps cleanse the gut. For a special treat, mix the passion fruit pulp with 3 tablespoons of plain Greek yogurt and sprinkle in some pre-soaked chia seeds. A light afternoon snack of just over 120 kcal, but rich in protein, healthy fats, and fiber, keeping blood sugar steady all afternoon. For overnight oats lovers, simply top your almond milk, soaked oats with 2 tablespoons of passion fruit. The natural sweet and sour flavor balances the starch, and the aroma refreshes your breakfast. To supercharge insulin sensitivity, press juice from the passion fruit together with half a green apple and a handful of spinach. The chlorophyll and potassium in the greens plus vitamin C form a trio that activates GLUT4, the channel that shuttles glucose into muscle, leaving you alert without those sudden hunger pangs. A few tips for maximum benefit. Choose fruits with deep purple, slightly wrinkled skin. That's when vitamin C and polyphenols peak and bitterness is minimal. If the fruit still looks glossy, leave it at room temperature for a day or 2 to ripen and become more fragrant. When preparing, resist the urge to reach for sugar. Added sweetness negates the blood sugar lowering effect. If needed, use a few drops of stevia or up to half a teaspoon of pure honey. The pulp ferments easily, so store any unused portion in a sealed glass jar in the fridge and use within 24 hours. People with sensitive stomachs should dilute the drink further and consume it 15 minutes after meals to avoid irritation. Anyone on blood pressure medication should monitor their pressure, as passion fruit can lower it slightly. Incorporating passion fruit into your daily routine is a simple way to prolong satiety, curb sugar cravings, and simultaneously nourish your blood vessels and support the pancreas without complicated prescriptions. A tiny fruit and a few minutes of prep translate to smoother blood sugar, a lighter heart, and a flatter belly. A worthwhile investment for anyone battling insulin resistance, starting tomorrow. A true story from Mr. Miguel, 67, Austin, Texas. A former railroad engineer who'd struggled with an HbA1c of 7.2 and an expanding waistline despite 3 years on metformin. He followed a strict diet, almost no evening rice, no pastries, but his blood sugar still danced, especially after office lunches. His greatest frustration, Miguel says, was that 3 p.m. crash, eyes blurring like the power was unplugged. Last January, his daughter, a dietitian, suggested her father try a 90-day experiment with 3 simple staples: blueberries, almonds, and steel-cut oats. Instead of cookies, Miguel switched to a 3 p.m. snack of 15 unsalted roasted almonds. Breakfast became an overnight oats jar of steel-cut oats soaked in almond milk, topped with a handful of fresh blueberries and a tablespoon of chia seeds. Everything else stayed the same. Same medications, same desk job, no extra high-intensity workouts. The result? After 12 weeks, Miguel's HbA1c fell to 6.3, and his post-meal blood sugar dropped by an average of 40 mg/dl. More importantly, he reports no more afternoon crashes, sustained focus through the end of the workday, and a 2 kg weight loss concentrated around his waist. His endocrinologist noted a slight rise in HDL and a 12-point drop in LDL, benefits statins alone hadn't achieved. The explanation is simple. Anthocyanins in blueberries boost insulin sensitivity. The MUFAs and magnesium in almonds smooth out blood sugar spikes. Beta-glucan in oats forms a gel that slows glucose absorption and sweeps LDL cholesterol out of the bloodstream. No miracle drug, just precise, repeated biological signals. Miguel sums it up. I didn't overhaul my diet, I only swapped one breakfast and one snack, but my body heard it loud and clear. His story reminds us that big changes begin with very small steps, as long as you stick with them long enough to see the numbers. And how you feel, transform. If you've stayed with me this far, you've likely noticed one thing. Sustainable health doesn't come from dramatic, quick fixes, but from the wise repetition of countless small choices. Starting your day with steel-cut oats instead of a sweet pastry, swapping that midday fried cucumber for a handful of lightly roasted almonds, mixing a simple passion fruit drink in the afternoon rather than reaching for soda. The 5 foods we've just explored, blueberries, almonds, steel-cut oats, spinach, and passion fruit, aren't magic bullets. But when you use the right ingredient at the right time in the right way, they become your silent nutrition advisors. Improving insulin sensitivity, smoothing out blood sugar, nourishing your vessels, and delivering steady energy all day long. In my view, after nearly 2 decades of prescribing and deprescribing for seniors, here's the truth. Medication matters, but food is the long game. Every time a patient of mine cuts back a statin dose or drops a metformin tablet because of a dietary tweak, I know they've reclaimed part of their control. And that control starts with a single simple decision. Pick one food, commit to it for 30 days, and listen to how your body responds. You don't have to overhaul everything at once. Begin with what feels easiest, a blueberry smoothie at breakfast or a spinach salad at lunch. Track your blood sugar, your energy, your sleep, and you'll be amazed when your body thanks you in both data and genuine feeling. If today's insights have been helpful, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. Each week, I'll share more science-backed strategies for nutrition, movement, and mindset to help you lead your later years rather than be led by illness. And don't hesitate to like this video, share it with friends, or tell us about your own 30-day journey in the comments, because your story could light the way for thousands more struggling with insulin resistance. Health is a collective journey. Together, we'll go further.